Welcome to 2023 Volleyball Media Day here at Akron with head coach Tyson Norton. Coach, can you give us an opening statement on this year's team and what training camp has looked like so far this week, really, since we opened?
So we started training camp with 17 healthy bodies, 17 bodies in the gym, which is really important for us. We have 9 returners, we have 8 incomers that are going to get up to speed at a quick pace, and they've been doing a great job communicating as a team. The returners understand what we're doing after a year of training. The spring was awesome for us. That allowed us to kind of understand the depth and expansion of our systems and understanding of volleyball. And so kind of having that experience from the spring allowed the last few days of training camp to really have the returners explain stuff to the incomers, not just the 5 freshmen, but also the transfers in our program that are going to be really good for us as we kind of progress throughout this training camp. And it's volleyball, right? I believe volleyball teaches volleyball. So, man, we started playing day one and kind of seeing where we're at and how do we expand on that capacity as we review our principles and system stuff. But, man, it's a great group of young women who get along, and it's showing not just on the court but off the court, and those relationships are going to be the foundation of what we build here.
Speaking of relationships, and what have you guys done as far as like team bonding, since you do have an influx of newcomers that are here with our team this year? And then also the second part to that question is, how are these girls gelling on the court so far? We've only a weekend. Kind of talk about that in personnel and key roles.
Absolutely. And so culture is where we start. And so, yeah, we're having a morning practice, an afternoon practice, some lunch, some recovery, and then we're kind of spending time together. That's how you build relationships. So some team bonding stuff is literally just being together. So there's speed dating, right? We're going to play some games. We started a book that we're going to kind of have discussions. It's kind of how do we open up and be vulnerable with each other. That's how you deepen those relationships, not just with the returners within amongst each other, but with the coaching staff and the incomers. And so how do we get to know each other a little bit better, and how do we play games, and how do we challenge each other? And it comes down to hard conversations and really opening up with each other. And there's people going to lean on certain people a little more than others, but man, if you all have that mutual respect across the board, that's how we really progress throughout our season, especially training camp, right? 3 days in, man, it's like we spent a lot of time together, and it's only going to become more, which is going to be awesome. The second question was
Personnel and what to look out for.
Personnel. Yeah. So we've had 5 training sessions so far, and we've played a lot together. Man, we've grown. The ceiling in our gym's gotten higher, but also the floor has risen, right? We have enough middles to have middles play middle, right? We don't need middles playing right side or opposite positions. We have bodies across the gym. We have 17 bodies where we can run a 5-1 side against a 6-2 side. So we're getting different looks on the court. And the more time we understand and spend on the court playing games and small group games, which we love to do, and little competitions, and how do we compete, but the level of play has improved, but the competition level, and how do you, there's a lot of some new faces, and am I nervous, or just go play our game and trust that process and stay in my lane, and how do I go do my job a little bit better and go compete, and how do we pass more balls in system, how do we set more balls in the right spot at the right time, how do our hitters get on the same page? And so, 3 days in, I'm stoked to see the progress of where we're at. And so it's like we have another 14 days before we play, which is crazy. But yeah, it's only going to get more expansive, more chaotic. And how do we control that chaos when it comes to game time?
Coach, this will be your second year in the Mid-American Conference. What have you learned about your coaching style to adapt or not adapt to the conference, and what you want to ultimately coach the ladies to be able to compete for that MAC championship?
Absolutely. The MAC is a defensive league. There's not a lot of teams hitting above 300, and a few players are once in a while, but it's a defensive league. It's a team that rallies go on, right? The team that has better ball control, right, is probably going to win that match a lot of the times, right? Yes, the attacking and the block matter, but the team that controls the ball better, ultimately wins, right? Defensively, how do we control, get more digs, better quality, more quantity across the board. And then what do we do at the end of it? So coming kind of from men's volleyball, my roots, it's all about offense. And so how do we adjust from our offense of game, and how do we get better quality digs, which kind of helps our transition offense, and how do we serve tough and serve receive a little bit better? That's going to help our game. But the Mid-American Conference, it's awesome, man. It's competitive. There's people who've been in the league for a lot of years. It's a rich tradition of volleyball in the MAC, which is really fun to see. With all the conference realignment, it seems like the MAC has a really strong regional hold on the conference, which is fun to see. But the teams know each other very well, and it's just we play volleyball to play volleyball. And how do we go put our best foot forward every time we step on the court?
Can you go take us through a little bit of your schedule and what the scheduling looks like preseason before we're getting into Mid-American Conference play, and then kind of expound on a little bit more of that rigorous of MAC play, like how rigorous that schedule is?
Absolutely. So we open up in 2 weeks at Eastern Illinois, and so we will drive out there, play 3 matches, come back, have a rest day on Sunday. The following weekend, we're going to head to Marshall for the 2-day tournament. The following week, we're going to kind of split up our schedule a little bit, have a solo match against Cleveland State, and then we got Bucknell and Harvard coming here to the Jar on that weekend, which is going to be awesome. Then that 4th week of preseason, we're going to go to Youngstown State for a early morning, mid-afternoon match, which is going to have a ton of elementary school kids at it, which is going to be super exciting. And we finish up our preseason here in the Jar against Cleveland State, which leads us, we end on a Friday. We have 2 days to kind of recover as we head into MAC play as designed, right? We want to be fresh. We want to be good in the preseason, but man, how do we get really good? How do we get great by the time conference comes in the MAC? And so in the MAC, we play back-to-back matches. We play Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday. And within that, it's your opportunity to go redeem yourself if you lose, an opportunity to prove yourself if you win. How do you do it again? And so as we kind of dial in our scouting reports and what adjustments can we make on night 2 versus night 1, how do we, again, play our game regardless of who's on the other side of the net, right? How do we play zip volleyball?
The ladies talked a little bit about, volleyball, just how it's expanded in the country and getting fans out here. So that's kind of what I want you to kind of draw or address, like how to make volleyball more attractive in the Akron area. Is it attractive in the Akron area to where you want to, how to bring people here? A message kind of to the fans to come out and support Akron volleyball this fall.
Yeah, volleyball is an expanding sport. It's the #1 female growing sport in the country. And in the Midwest region, Ohio specifically, Akron, Cleveland area, there's a ton of club players, a ton of high school players. Every high school has women's volleyball, girls volleyball. And it's like, to watch volleyball at an elite level is going to improve their game. And as you come watch our style of play of Akron volleyball, man, it's exciting. We fly around the gym. We make plays. We make hustle plays. We may not score that point, but man, our team will not quit. We're going to grow and grind for every single point on the court. And so as you come out, it's not just a boring game of serve and then there's another ball. We play fast-paced volleyball. We're up speed. We try to hit the ball as hard as we can. We be creative, be curious, and at the end of the day, man, how do we go be brave for each other and bring an excitement to Akron volleyball? And so from the community, it's come check it out, right? What's the worst thing, right? Spend a great evening on Akron's campus and get to see a good match of volleyball.
What do you plan on accomplishing here at Akron, like with our team? Like, what are your coaching goals for this team?
Coaching goals for this team, absolutely. All right, how do we be the best team we can be? Not just on the court, but off the court. How do we build those relationships with each other? As you look back on your career as Zips, can you come back for alumni events? Can you relate with each other in 10 years? And that's what's going to make us go through the hard times, right? Man, I can lean on this person. I know this relationship will last because we're in this hard position together. We've gone through hard things together. Yes, how do we go win a MAC championship? Absolutely. All right, how do we make the MAC tournament? How do we get to 500? There's all these elements that kind of get us from good to great. But it starts with, man, how do we develop that great relationship with each other? And so my goal is, like, when you look back on your experience here, it's, man, I built some really good friendships. I graduated with a meaningful degree and had a lot of fun playing with my teammates on the court.
I know it's only been a couple of days of preseason, but after seeing us play, what are you most excited for?
I'm most excited to see just everybody kind of going together, playing together, the returners giving feedback to the incomers. And as we kind of build it out, that's what I'm most excited about. The relationships being forged together. It's the tempo. Man, that was not great on the first morning, but now we're 5 sessions in, and connections are getting better offensively. We're serving a little bit tougher. Right, we've got a sweet radar gun that kind of tracks our serves. We have passers passing tougher balls, right? So it's kind of the bonds of volleyball, right, kind of coming from off the court. But also, man, it's just like people are making plays. We haven't talked about blocking. We're stuffing balls. We haven't really talked about defense, but we're playing defense. And so it comes back to that serve and pass and how do we put a ball away. But the harder you can do that in practice and push each other, that's what I'm most excited about, and seeing the potential of where we can do, right? And it's like, it's going to be chaotic, which is great. But it's like, how do we enjoy this process and fine-tune those details as we go through it?
Thank you.